Hey everyone.
Hello.
Just a quick note. Obviously, the seats in which your bags with your names are on, those are your seats for the first part of the event because we'll be calling you up in that order. So if you've moved, I hope you remember where you moved from.
Please go back days when you started.
If you have any questions, I have a list so I can help you find where you're supposed to be sitting.
Actually, here's something about it. So that's. I said. And it's cool. Because it's not. But he literally started it. And I found out about it, and it was in the, and he sent me there, this whole thing. He's already got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like. It's great that it's another step, but yeah.
Yes.
He won some kid one day for 6 hours. That's the week I did. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the company. Yeah. And I have, that's why I never engaged with that, but then I get back. I'm like, they're volunteers. There was no payment. They sort of see a, they sort of see it as.
Yeah, I know.
So the EDS. No, after the meeting, the monkey had when you find the meetings after the ship. We just like doing stuff.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to the third annual welcome ceremony for our incoming first-year PhD students in the School of Medicine. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to staff of the Graduate Studies Office who have worked very hard and made sure that this event is very successful. So let's give them a big round of applause. Especially to Dr. Deepti Ramdas, who is standing right there. I think she has not slept for a few days, so I'm sure she could use some sleep after today's event. So our incoming class has 76 students, including 10 MD PhD students. And they are spread across about a dozen or so graduate programs. About 35 students are from the state of Pennsylvania and 41 are from all the other states and from all over the world. So it's a pretty decent sized class. And one goal of today's event is for you to get to know each other rather than being siloed into your individual programs. And I know that you have made a great decision to come to Pitt because this is the place to do a cutting edge research in a very supportive and collaborative environment. Our world-class biomedical graduate programs reflect emergence of Pitt as a major research center and for discovery and innovation. And our graduate students are major drivers of this advancement that we have made over the last several years in our standing for the Pitt Medical School and the University of Pittsburgh in general. And I hope that you will be open to new ideas and new challenges and new discoveries in your graduate career here. In addition to doing cutting-edge research during your PhD program, I encourage you to enjoy this beautiful city of Pittsburgh. I'm sure many of you have ventured out already, and it's a great place for all kinds of activities, whether you're into music, sports, nature, and cultural activities and such. So please make sure that you enjoy that, of course, without forgetting your real responsibilities in terms of being graduate students. So don't quote me on that, but try to enjoy the city of Pittsburgh as well. Your journey is going to be an exciting in Pittsburgh, and I hope that you'll make best of all the opportunities that we offer to you in Pittsburgh. I wish you all the best in graduate education and beyond. All of us are looking forward to making your stay at Pitt a great one, and we are always here to help you in any way that we can. So that was very short remarks. I will just end there. Thank you for your attention. And the next speaker is Dr. Shekhar, who is the Dean of the School of Medicine, as well as the Senior Vice Chancellor for Health Sciences. And I have to say that Dr. Shekhar came here about 3 years ago, right at the start of pandemic. Not a great time to be taking on a major responsibility, but over the last 3 years, Pitt has made major advances, especially School of Medicine. Our funding has gone up by 30%, and we have a very large and vibrant community. But most of all, for today's event, I have to thank Dr. Shekhar for being very supportive of graduate students and graduate programs. So far, he has not said no to me about anything that I have asked for on behalf of the graduate students and graduate programs. And I hope that that will continue in the future. So, Dr. Shekhar.
Thanks, Salim, and good afternoon, everyone. Great. Okay, I'll start with a big no, right? She said, I never say no. So what do we say no to? We say no to anti-science, right? We say no to anti-racism, right? We say no to racism here. We say no to many things, but not to supporting graduate students, not to knowledge, not to generating great research here. So you're joining an amazing university. You're joining an amazing biomedical research community. I think, as Salim mentioned, we are incredibly blessed with 800 plus top-notch researchers who are conducting every possible area of biomedical research here. And at CMU, additional folks working on a variety of biomedical computation, bioimaging, etc. So you are in a very vibrant community here. And I think, as Salim also mentioned, that we have, I think we're this year #3 in federal research funding. That's only behind 2 other schools in the country. Can anyone name those 2 schools on this panel? Sorry, did somebody say that? Yeah. Oh, nowhere. Are you a Michigander? You're a big blue guy? No, it's not Michigan. Good. UCSF. Only 2 schools that are ahead of us. All the other schools are behind us. Michigan, few spots behind us. It's not about bragging about our funding. What it does say, though, is the vibrancy of research environment here and all the money you will have in the labs to do your research. So those are important issues. When you choose a lab, when you choose a mentor, you want to make sure that they're doing nationally competitive research. You want to make sure they're publishing in the best journals. You want to make sure their labs have grants to support your career. And we have many, many training grants. I don't know how many training grants we have, probably 60. Yeah, so there's a lot of resources for you as graduate students. So you're joining an amazing place. But what do we expect in an amazing place? We expect amazing dedication and amazing engagement. And I think you're all here because you've already demonstrated that throughout your career so far. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here and listening to me bragging about Pitt, right? So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how your careers evolve here. How many of you will eventually go into great academic institutions? How many of you will stay at Pitt and make us even greater? And how many of you will win the Lasker or hopefully even a Nobel Prize someday? But that's the kind of research you're going to be doing here. Equally importantly, all of the work we do here is to benefit humanity. While it could be anything as much as a fundamental structure of a protein, all the way to a new treatment for an untreatable disease, all that starts with a discovery in a laboratory or in a clinic. And you will be the ones that will be part of that. And that's something you have to think about. It's not just getting through your classes. It's not just getting through your, first paper and your thesis. All of those are great steps. But ultimately, your work will impact hundreds, thousands, millions of lives, because that's the kind of work that we do here and our faculty do here. So thank you for choosing Pitt as a home for your graduate studies. We are uniquely proud of all of the work that happens here. It's also an amazingly nurturing place. Every one of your mentors will become your surrogate parents. Every one of your departments will become your larger family. And that's part of the culture of Pitt, which I have come to appreciate, having been here 3 years and under extraordinary circumstances. So when I was a graduate student, when I started as a graduate student, I remember thinking, gosh, there's so much to get through in the first year and all the lab rotations you have to do and the big decisions you want to make about which area you want to focus on. You will have great mentors and great graduate office folks who will help you navigate all of those. And financially, we are here to support you in many different ways. You probably have heard, we just recently increased our graduate stipend to actually make sure that you're not underpaid for all of the work that you have to do. We have also upgraded many of the other resources, including labs and learning environment. So I'm very much looking forward to feedback from you, how your first year goes, how successfully you integrate into this great but complex environment. But most of all, how you flourish at PittMed. So congratulations and welcome to our family.
Thank you, Dr. Shekhar, for those remarks. And I again want to thank you for raising stipend of the students to 40K. And I know that they greatly appreciate it. So thank you one more time for that big decision. Our next speaker is Dr. Chenis Pettigrew. He is the Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and he will tell us about building an inclusive community.
Is there a, let's see, do I just go to the next slide? That's it, I'm good. Good afternoon, everybody. Is that the best you can do? I know it's Friday, I know it's a little past 3 o'clock. I know you're thinking about happy hour or whatever, but we have to go through this and we want to get it done. We certainly do appreciate the fact that you're willing to invest your science futures with us. And we know for sure that we're going to be able to support the goals and aspirations that you have. In our office in the School of Medicine, there's me. I have a very small team. Dr. Rhonda White, Anna Elias is our admin, and she works very hard to make sure that students have the things that they need. In addition, students inform our work by communicating with us and supporting us and expressing the needs that they have. Those affinity groups are groups that tell us the things that we should be doing, the areas that we should concentrate on. The joint leadership team, we call it JOLT, in the School of Medicine. We want to make sure that the student voice is a voice that is heard and respected. And so we meet frequently to discuss what it is that we can do better as a school. Building an inclusive community is intentional. It is not something that happens because it evolves out of good ideas. We have to make sure that we intend to put those good ideas into work. Our areas of focus, as you see on the screen, really exist because we want to make sure that we can intentionally build that community. We want to make sure that we understand diversity. And one of the things that I will say at this particular point in time with Dr. Shaker here, it is his resolute commitment to make sure that we do have a diverse and inclusive environment that fuels our work, that supports the things that we need to do, and motivates us to try to do more. But we're responsible for making sure our community understands what it is that this is about. We're responsible for assisting in recruiting students. And we're so glad that you said yes. We want to create a welcoming environment, and we want to make sure that all the members of our community are respected in our programs, initiatives, and information. Try to make sure that that happens. We have some guiding principles just to be sure that we're not moving too far away from those things that really make things happen. We want to make sure that we are information-based. We want to make sure that we try to invigorate our environment, advocate for those things that we need to advocate for, that we educate our students, we educate our colleagues, that we're communicating with everybody about any of the issues that come up, and that we try to innovate as we go through this process, because students are the ones oftentimes that help us to bring programs to bear. And ultimately, we're really about the business of trying to transform our environment into the best environment it can be for all of the members of our community. Collaboration is very important with the Graduate Studies Office. Obviously, we are their colleagues, and we want to work with them to make sure that we are creating that community that we can create for you. We want you to be successful. We want you to be heard, supported, and it is our collaboration with them that makes all of these things possible. in our environment, there are many people. There's not just me. I am just one person who tries to keep some things held together. But these are some of the colleagues around the university in various places that really do assist in this work. And without collaboration and without many partners, many of them are investigators like you will become, this work would not be possible. So I want to make sure that you understand you're coming to an environment where we intend for it to be inclusive, where we work together to make sure that that's happening, and that there is a broad range of individuals that are here that support the work. The student experience is something, again, that we consider to be important. It's not something that just happens sort of because we say we want to do good work. We want to make sure that the learning environment itself is a result of us working together. So in diversity, equity, and inclusion, you have our office, obviously. The university has a centralized office. The health sciences has an office as well, and we're working with the graduate office. And in that administrative environment, we're able to sort out all of the issues that impact the learning environment. You should know in the medical school as well, there is a team for the learning environment, and there's an associate dean, and there are other assistant deans that are working to make sure that the learning environment is one that allows you to be as successful as you can be, and that everybody really feels welcome and included. So the student experience is not something that is something that it's a managed experience, as well as we can make that happen. In terms of making connections, it's important because all of you will be spread out in various different places. You'll be in labs, and your PIs will be the people that you relate to and your lab partners. But at the same time, we try to make sure that there are some connections. In the fall, when everybody gets here, we have what is called Culture Fest. The Biomedical Graduate Student Association is very prominent in putting that together, and we bring everybody into a space that says who you are, the authentic you, is something that we want to see. So we do a number of different things over the course of that activity, but we're there to represent the many cultures and experiences in our community. We have Toast to Diversity, which we do in the fall as well, early in September at this particular point in time, where we bring folks together to try to welcome new people and to say that diversity, equity, and inclusion is important in this environment. This year, we're going to try to have what I call DE&I Connect. We're going to try to make sure that there are opportunities for you spread out as you are across campus to get together. And we'll try to create those along with the Graduate Studies Office. Real talk, we have some plans and we'll be collaborating with them. Essentially, what that means is we're going to bring investigators to your attention to let you know what their stories are, and their stories can help inform you that this is a doable process, that you'll get all the signatures on your dissertation that you need, and everybody will be happy. We have an alumni speaker series that we also do, and that is to say, this is how I got into making the decision that I did, and this is the work that I'm doing, and this is how my career has gone. Jackson Wright is one of our graduates. He's an MD PhD graduate, and he did what is now called the Sprint Study. And if you want to have a role model, Jackson Wright is one of those role models that you should look toward. He is a good friend of mine, and I really do appreciate his work. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you've given me in terms of your attention. Hopefully you have a sense that in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, that we are very committed to it, and just make sure that you seek me out if there are any needs or concerns that you have.
So I'm sure most of you are doing rotations in the lab and you're looking forward to finding the right mentors. So the next speaker is Dr. Catherine Albers. She's a professor in the Department of Neurobiology, and she will tell you a little bit about how to find the right mentor. Hedy.
Thank you. And good afternoon. I was asked to give a few talking points about how to go about finding that perfect mentor. And it's a good mentor, but by the end of this will be an excellent mentor. So good mentors, these are the qualities, these are the 4 top things that you should look for when you're making your decision over the next year or so. Good mentors will have a positive attitude, and they're going to have a passion for their research. And you're going to see this in their excitement when they speak to you about their research program. So this is a really core quality that you want to look for when you're picking that person to work with over the next 4 or 5 years. So good mentors are going to be careful listeners. They're going to really pay attention when you're speaking to them, and they're going to help others as well. They're going to have sort of a reaching out kind of attitude and want to be that person that people feel comfortable coming up and speaking with. Good mentors are going to enjoy teaching, and they're going to give constructive feedback, not just criticism, but constructive feedback, how to go forward. You're going to find them in the classroom. They're going to be the teachers that you can go to find out information about topics that may be really off your radar. So good mentors are also going to demonstrate respect for you and others in the laboratory. They're going to build a laboratory that is really inclusive and exciting and a place where you're going to want to go every day to do your work. And so this is a mark of a really a person that's really engaged in building a strong research program. So considerations in choosing a mentor. And it really does come down to some aspects of it's personal. It's a personal decision. You are a person, and your mentor, your faculty person, is a person. Do you get together? Will you get along? Are you the right mindset? Will you work well together? So first and foremost, though, you have to consider if the research is of interest to you. Does it really excite that inner science nerd? Because that's going to have to carry you through these years. You really need to be excited about your project. And so look at the laboratory and decide if that's really what you want to spend your next training years on. Does the research topic align with your future goals? And you may not have a set plan just yet, but in general, start to have a plan for what you want to accomplish. And is that laboratory and that experience really going to get you on that road? So also consider, does the faculty member have time to devote to training? Are they accessible? And this is really key. And again, it comes back to it's personal. Some people really require or want to have a very close daily, weekly interaction, particularly during the first years of training, but others may not need that. So make sure that you have this sort of these meetings and how often, maybe set up initially before, really embarking on your choice. So another consideration is the faculty member a good professional role model? Will they provide experience and professional skills development? And so this is where they certainly should be a good scientist, but they also need to be engaged in teaching and service missions, because that is a well-rounded academic researcher. And so, do they have those qualities, and can they also sort of guide you through steps that you're going to be taking in the future as a contributing faculty or scientist? So how to choose a good mentor? How do you go about finding this person or considering this person? Search PubMed, read the literature. Do they have expertise, knowledge, and publish quality science? This is not going to be hard to find, because many people here on campus, as Dr. Schucker has mentioned, they're excellent researchers here, outstanding. And so they should have a record of research accomplishment, and they will have financial support. Ask if you can see the grant proposal that describes the research that you may be working on. This is not an unusual thing to do, and it'll give you a good idea of what you might be doing in the future in terms of your bench work. Strongly consider working with two advisors. Of course, two people, two minds, giving feedback and helping along with deciding your research program are going to be better than one. And it's also another place where you can go for advice. Speak with current and former students, if possible. Ask them, how was your experience? Did you get to publish your work? And consider that in terms of, maybe, this is a question I should get more information about. So the value of a good mentor and going through all of this process is high. A good mentor will provide knowledge and scientific training. That's baseline, right? You expect that. But they're going to encourage you. They're going to be there encouraging you to present your data, to help you network at meetings and to write that first manuscript, to write that and submit that first grant. They're going to be there to help you figure out, how do I do this? And how do I do it well? They're going to establish a relationship of mutual respect and be open to conversation if difficulties arise. You will be with this laboratory and with this person 4, 5, 6 years. Things may not go perfect. And so this person is going to be able, you're going to be able to go and speak to them and not be fearful of having a conversation maybe about a difficult problem that's not necessarily research. So they're going to provide a training experience that broadens your career paths. So perhaps maybe you won't be in academic medicine. Perhaps you have decided that you want to go to industry or work in a pharmaceutical industry company or science communication. They'll be supportive of that choice if that's what you decide you need to do. They will allow you to broaden your horizons. And so they will be supportive in that way. And they are going to be there to provide advice and guidance throughout your professional life. And this is really the bonus. You now have a colleague that you can count on even after your graduate education to ask, like, is this a good idea? What do you think about this proposal? Can you read it over? Should I go and take this position? And this is even aside from the letters of recommendation that they will provide for you in the future. So congratulations. You are on a fulfilling path of lifelong learning, as it says, as it's usually put for graduate school, and you will learn important life skills, and that is how to think and problem solve. And that's going to be so important for all of your future goals and research. Along the way, think about what kind of mentor you want to be and how you're going to excite the next group of young scientists. And that's congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. So we will move on now to the next step, and there's the alumni presentation of university jackets to entering students. And I just wanted to emphasize what Dr. Oliver just said, is that once you graduate, you will have lots of different opportunities, be it in academia, industries, and so on. So we have one alumna today, Dr. Julie Kramer, who is Director of Clinical and Regulatory Affairs at Clinical Research Strategies in Pittsburgh. And she will make a few remarks, and then we'll have the jacket ceremony for you. So, Dr. Kramer.
Hi, everyone. All right. Let's see here. Here we go. First year. All right. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on my time so I don't go over, because after I talk is when you get your fancy jackets. All right. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. I was where you were not that long ago, longer than I'd like to admit, but not that long ago. Actually, I wasn't in your seat because we didn't have a welcoming ceremony. That's a new thing. But welcome nonetheless. It's very exciting to be here. I love being engaged still with Pitt. I do that in many different ways, and I'll talk about a few of those, but I always start talking about serendipity and strategy because people say, oh, I got this job, there's serendipity, or I met this person. And surely I have a couple of those stories, but it's not just serendipity. Things happen to you every day by chance. But it's only whenever you pair the serendipity with strategy that you make things happen in your life. So I've got a couple of those stories. I'm going to try to be brief, but just know that your time here as a PhD student is very valuable to you, no matter what it is. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. It's a great environment. I agree with all the comments that have been said so far. Very, very good like nuggets of advice. So I started as a baby scientist over at Youngstown State University in Ohio, Bachelor of Science, got my master's there as well, and actually worked for 3 years as a research associate, but just wanted more of an impact. I wanted to make more of an impact in healthcare and in patients' lives. So came to the University of Pittsburgh. That's me there. You can see the resemblance. So I joined the lab of Eric Lagasse. It was in the pathology department. So I was in cellular and molecular pathology program. But his lab is down at the McGowan Institute for Regenerative Medicine. And so one thing that I definitely want to talk about is this nature. We already talked about it a little bit today about collaboration. So you see your colleagues here. Make sure that you continue to talk to one another, cross-disciplinary, outside of your lab, outside of even the university, outside of your department. It's very, very important. So while I was here, I was also part of the Cater training grant. So it was cellular approaches to tissue engineering and regeneration. I think that was very helpful as well, because as I said, I was in the pathology department, but because I was kind of in this like weird location down in the McGowan Institute, there was some bioengineering pieces to my project. And I really tried to cultivate those as well, because again, I wanted to be able to speak more than one scientific language. So a couple of things that how I made my time here at Pitt really matter. Again, being very cross-disciplinary, trying to talk to people outside of my department. When you're at conferences, network with people that are thinking outside of what you are presenting. If you're presenting a poster, make sure you talk to them and try to connect with them after. LinkedIn is a great way to do that. We don't really need business cards anymore, although I do have them. It's a great way. There's these barcodes on LinkedIn you can just scan and automatically connect. Also participating in seminars and workshops that the Graduate Studies Office puts together. DeepD is phenomenal at putting together programming for you. So take advantage of those. You never know what you're gonna like until you kind of hear about it. So the more information gathering you do while you're here at your PhD, kind of still under this protective umbrella, take the time to go to seminars and workshops about careers in academia, because while that's not where I landed, it is a very valid and very important job career and career path that maybe most of you think you want to set out on, and maybe most of you will. There's other things out there as well. So the more you hear about what it's actually like in all the different areas, the better you're going to be. Also participate in scientific communication events that the university has. I don't know if science still happens every year, but if that's something that happens, or other areas that you can present in, every time you're offered that opportunity, take it to present, to talk to people, even if it's, presenting to younger kids or outside of in the community. Learning how to communicate your science in a different way is actually very important and very helpful learning experience for you as well. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened after I left. So I actually didn't do a postdoc. I know, I'm sorry. I didn't do one. I actually went straight into a startup company. It was a company that had licensed technology here from the university. That's my first serendipity story. While I was still a graduate student, I just happened to bump into somebody that was tasked, and they're called an executive in residence, tasked with starting companies that the university had technologies ready for. And we just started talking one morning, kind of gave him an elevator pitch. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You need to be able to do one. And it's just like talking to someone about what it is you're doing and what it is you want to do. And he ended up being my first boss outside of the university. He ended up being CEO. I was their first hire. So it was a cancer diagnostics tool. So I started there, was there for a few years. It failed, may mostly do. But the experience I had there was just absolutely phenomenal. So then I actually came back to the university in two different roles. One is a consultant first for a commercial translation program, where we help to educate investigators how to actually think about their research in a different way, more of a commercial way, more of a product way, to be able to talk to investors and different key stakeholders. Again, very important to learn the different ways to communicate to different people. And then I joined the Innovation Institute, which is the tech transfer office here at the University of Pittsburgh. So they're focused focused on intellectual property, how to protect the intellectual property coming out of the labs, and also looking at contracts, legal agreements with between the university and other entities outside of the university, how to accelerate that early stage research really to a commercial end. And really that's where, you know, there's a piece of impact at every single step of the way. At the academic level, it's ground level up, right? You're thinking of new things, you're being innovative, and then you have to somehow get that out into industry and into the commercial realm. So there's that transfer that has to happen. And now I'm at clinical research strategy. So I was at the Innovation Institute for a few years and gained very valuable experience there. And at clinical research strategies, we focus on clinical trials. We run clinical trials for local and global companies. We also help with regulatory submissions. So regulatory submissions to the FDA or even the rest of the world to help to get approval or clearance for novel devices and biologics and drugs. And we also have a lot of medical writing on our staff as well. So it's been a great ride there. I've been there for about 2 years. And people ask me pretty often whenever I'm giving a talk like this, but you spent 6 years getting your PhD. Do you feel like you've used that? Every single day. Because when you earn a PhD, and you will earn your PhD with blood, sweat, and tears, you become an autonomous learner. And that's exactly what Kathy was talking about as well. You become an autonomous learner. You learn how to learn. And one of my first jobs, my boss said, okay, you need to make sure you perform this due diligence for our potential investor. I was like, no problem. What's due diligence? Tell me that, and I'm going to hit the ground running, right? And so you learn how to learn. You learn how to just go to the literature, go to your colleagues, go to people who know the answers and figure it out. So a couple of things, I won't take too much more of your time. These are a few resources outside of the university that can help you specifically in the life science ecosystem here. The Pittsburgh Bio Breakfast, I highly recommend. Just Google it, Pittsburgh Bio Breakfast, get on their mailing list. It's kind of like the what's going on in the life science ecosystem, kind of outside of the university, but also a lot of academics attend as well. Happens every week, informal networking. Even if you just go to help you understand how to network, I'll see you there occasionally. You never know who's going to show up. Sometimes there's speakers, sometimes there's not. It's a good place to get to know people. Women in Bio, we have a chapter here in Pittsburgh. I suggest that you check that out as well. We do welcome men, although it is mostly women. Career development programming is what they focus on, from graduate student. We even have a young Women in Bio program all the way up through C-level people as well. And then the other three, just key stakeholders in our area, LifeX, Pittsburgh Life Sciences Greenhouse, and UPMC Enterprises. One final thing I want to say is how much I do love the Pitt community. I, along with Deepti at the Graduate Studies Office, put together an affiliation agreement between my company and the university to allow graduate students to have on-the-job experience at my company as a senior level graduate student. So we just had our first intern finish. She spent 16 weeks at my company immersing herself in clinical trial management and regulatory affairs, little bits and pieces of jobs. She was actually able to do work. She didn't just observe, she actually did work for us. And she excelled. And it was something that we are very passionate about, providing that type of experience so that graduate students can see what a particular job is like. Because when you're done, you're like, okay, all I know is academia. What do I know about anything else? And really to be able to just offer that experience is really exciting for us. So Sydney was a fabulous first intern. So I just want to say thank you again for the organizers for having me here today. And it's really exciting time to be a graduate student and to start out on your career. So I wish you the best in your career here at Pitt. And I just want to say, watch out for that third year. It's a doozy. And now we will actually move into, unless there's something. Thank you. Did you have anything else to say? All right. So we're going to move into the jacket ceremony. So first, I am going to introduce, are there any other slides? Okay. I'm going to announce the names of the program directors and representatives of the 11 PhD programs and request you to stand as I call your name. Zandre Ambrose, program in microbiology and immunology. James Fader, computational biology. Arjuman Ghazi, molecular genetics and developmental biology. Andrew Hink, molecular biophysics and structural biology. Neil Hukreed, Integrative Systems Biology, Tia Jacob, Molecular Pharmacology, Jinghua Liu, Biomedical Informatics, Wendy Mars, Cellular Molecular Pathology, Oliver Schluter, Center for Neuroscience, Stella Soon, Cell Biology and Molecular Physiology, Galen Switzer, Clinical and Translational Science. All right, so these are the folks you look to, all right, for these programs. All right, so now what you're going to do in alphabetical order as I call your name is you will, I'm going to call your name in groups of about 11. Then you're going to come up onto the stage in that order. Let's see. And you're going to hand your jackets to a program director. It doesn't matter who you choose. You're not choosing a program. Okay. And once your whole group is on stage, then you're going to give your jacket to the program director you're standing by, and they're going to help you put on your jacket. And once your jackets are on, we're going to pause for a photo op. Okay. And after you've had your photo taken, file off. And then I'll start calling the next group. Got it? I'll do my best with your names. All right. Group 1. Brian Aquaviva. Nathan Adam. Anirudh Ajit is not here. Still wanted to recognize. Haley Arbor. Sharu Aurora. Kelly Barco. Rebecca Bitgani. Sarah Bradley. Anthony Bragoli. Hannah Baumgartner. Paulina Gabata Agrier. Okay. Jackets on. Jackets on. And we'll take another picture. Take a picture after. So no. All right. All right, group 2. Jesus Calixto. Ben Cameron. Edith Campana. Bailey Shamlers. Alexander Chang. Yija Jen. Lauren Cook. Michael Corglano. Angela Enriquez. Kelsey Ertwine. And Luis Escobar Robledo. All right, jackets on.
Scoot in.
All right, congratulations. All right, group 3. There are, just so we're keeping track, there are 7 groups. Okay. Alyssa Evans. Emma Flynn. Aaron Francis. Alex Gennaro. Elizabeth Giaco. Alexander Goldberg. Brittany Gomez. Aaron Graber. Devin Harsh. Teresa Heidenreich. Nicole Horan.
Ready?
Right, group 4. Thomas Jacob. Daria Jellick. Stephen Jett. Andrea Dorado. Anusha Calavaclaria. Jiwon Kim. Chloe Kuhn. Jia Lee. Zhenjiao Lu. Lovisa Lundqvist Brinson. Hannah Martin. All right, group 5. Anna Marie Martinez. Ugana Mekwi. Christopher Merkel. Megan Monroe. Tanisha Myers. Rajiv Pawar. Vaish Bedapatla. Christina Perashvikova. Hi, Fam. Stephanie Pajgutsky. Josette Quesada.
There you go. Yep.
Here, the picture. All right, group 6. Gabriel Ratcliffe. Amanda Reschke. Kenan Salvador. Jane Seawick. Miles Steed. Caitlin Strasberg. Swati Shares. Amber Vanendever. Allison Wang. Emily Wheelis. Kayla Winner.
Go. All right. All right. Go. All right. There we go.
No, that we won't. Yep. All right, last group number 7. Ariel Wise Butler. Kevin Wright. Chong Yu Wu. Kenta Yamamoto. Jingting Yang. Yajuan Yang. Tyler Yasaka. Jiyun Zhang. Febri Zugioko. And Tracy Tabib.
Ready? Here we go. Congratulations. All right.
Move up.
Thank you, Julie, and all the program directors for doing one of the most important jobs for the day. Those jackets are beautiful. They look great. So much so that we'll give one to Dr. Shaker just to remind him of his graduate school days. I'm sure he'll like it. So the last item of the day is the administration of a scientist oath by Matt Halbert. Matt is a current graduate student, and also importantly, he's the president of the Biomedical Graduate Student Association. And I just wanted to give a shout out for BGSA. And I think that along with your PhD thesis research and all the other activities that you do, please try to get involved in some leadership activities. There are opportunities in the organizations for you, and there are many other organizations. So take the matter in your own hands. Your future is in your hands. So try to get used to not just research, but also other opportunities that are available. So Matt, please come here and.
Hey, everybody. Sorry, I should. Drinks before would have been fun too, just as a heads up. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm a fourth year PhD student in cellular molecular pathology. Welcome, everyone. I was told I had a tight 5, so I'm going to try to wrap this up as fast as possible. But to double down on what Dr. Khan just mentioned about student involvement, just my quick plug. One of the things, the only thing all of you guys will have in common with your next job market is that you will all have PhDs. And I highly recommend you taking the next 4 or 5 years to find ways of diversifying your professional portfolio. BGSA is a great way of doing that, but there are also other great organizations that do very similar things. I did have a speech, but I feel like everyone's way more excited about drinks. It's quick, it's tight, it's a fast 5. I'm a middle child though, and having like a podium and a microphone and people having to listen is really feeding some things. I'm sure there are some middle child children out there. Actually, who is a sibling to a middle child? That's probably way more of a thing. But I digress. I think the best part of a welcoming speech is to probably welcome those who are coming in. So congratulations on making it this far. Round of applause. Well, look great in the jackets. And I think it's important to realize that you guys have sacrificed so much to get here, and so many other people have helped contribute to that along the way. It takes a village for this to happen. I think my mom would say it would take like a city or a civilization, or it took a lot for me to be standing right here. And so all that said is I know the sacrifices. Is that a lot? It felt like a lot. So I know the sacrifices that it took for you guys to get here. It's hard, it's an arduous process. And I think it's crucial to realize that it will continue to take a village to get you guys through this journey. And so very few people in this whole world will understand the path ahead of you. And luckily, everyone in this room and everyone that sat in these chairs before you knows what this process looks like. And so I want to encourage you and reassure you that the graduate students are your new village. We welcome you into this new community and are so very excited to see you here today. And so to formalize this process, let's rip this oath real quick. Everyone ready? So everyone stand. Everyone stand. Y'all look great. Excellent. So I hope the dyslexia won't sneak up on me too much, but let's just together. So as I embark on my career as a scientist, I will pledge that I will practice and support a scientific process that is based on logic, intellectual rigor, personal integrity, and an uncompromising respect for truth. I will perform my professional activities and interactions with scientific integrity and respect, and my peers. I will acknowledge my role as an ambassador of science to the public and strive to be honest, respectful, and unbiased with engaging the public. I will value my work and its contribution to the scientific community. I will never let the potential for personal recognition or advancements cause me to act in a way that violates the public's trust in science or as a scientist. I will foster a community that is inclusive of all and recognize that diversity cultivates innovation, creativity, and progress. I will acknowledge and honor the contributions of scientists who have preceded me and become a whole role model deserving of respect by those who follow me. And I will always be cognizant that my work is for the advancement of knowledge and the benefits of all humanity. Good job, everybody. Welcome. Good.
So thank you, Matt, and all the other people who have spoken this afternoon, and to all of you for becoming now officially a graduate student at Pitt Med. So the next step is really to get the photographs taken for the incoming students, and after that, it's party time. But thank you all and have a great afternoon. I'll see you around very soon. Deepti, just outside. Deepti, where is the photograph taken? Just outside. Yeah. Everyone, all the students, please follow Deepti.
I mean,